Jayam Vishnupada Permanent Separation Restored Saraswati Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shalasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Jai Gaur Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, chapter number 29. Titled Explanation of Devotional Service. Text number 38. Yo anta pravisya bhutani. Yo anta pravisya bhutani. Bhute rati akilashrayaha. Bhute rati akilashrayaha. Sa Vishnu kyo adhiyagnoso. Sa Vishnu kyo adhiyagnoso. Kala kala yatam prabhu. Kala kala yatam prabhu. Yo anta pravisya bhutani. Bhute rati akilashrayaha. Sa Vishnvakyo adhiyagnoso. Kala kala yatam prabhu. Yo anta pravisya bhutani. Bhute rati akilashrayaha. Sa Vishnu akyo adhiyagnoso. Kala kala yatam prabhu. Yo anta pravisya bhutani. Bhute rati akilashrayaha. Sa Vishnu akyo adhiyagnoso. Alam yata prabhu. Yo anta pravisya bhutani. Bhute rati akilashrayaha. Sa Vishnu akyo adhiyagnoso. Kala kala yatam prabhu. Yo anta pravisya bhutani. Bhute rati akilashrayaha. Sa Vishnu akyo adhiyagnoso. Kala kala yatam prabhu. Matajis. Yo anta pravisya bhutani. Bhute rati akilashrayaha. Sa Vishnu akyo adhiyagnoso. Yo anta pravisya bhutani. Bhute rati akilashrayaha. Sa Vishnu Akyo Adi Yagnoso Kala Kala Yatam Prabhu. Would Yo anta pravisya bhutani bhute rati akhilashrayah sa Vishnu akyo adiyagnoso kala kala yatam prabhu. Word for word translation. Ya, he who, anta, within, pravisya, entering, bhutani, living entities, bhute, by living entities, ati, annihilates, akila, of everyone, ashrayaha, the support, sa, he, Vishnu, Vishnu, Akhya, named, Adi Yagna, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, Aso, that, Kala, time factor, Kala Yatam, of all masters, Prabhu, the master. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality Godhead, who is the enjoyer of all sacrifices, is the time factor and the master of all masters. He enters everyone's heart. He is the support of everyone, and he causes every being to be annihilated by another. Purport. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality Godhead, is clearly described in this passage. He is the supreme enjoyer, and all others are working as his servants. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 5, text 14, Ekala Ishvara Krishna, the only Supreme Lord is Vishnu. Arasabha Bricha, all others are his servants. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods are all servants. The same Vishnu enters everyone's heart as Paramatma, and he causes the annihilation of every being through another being. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksul Mritam Yena Tasmei Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you everyone for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class today. So we're continuing our discussion from Canto 3, Chapter 29, titled Explanation of Devotional Service. So this is Lord Kapiladev speaking to his mother Devahuti. And previously, Mother Devahuti, she had asked a question to Lord Kapiladev, asking Lord Kapiladev to please describe about the characteristics of time. So that question that Mother Devahuti had asked before, now Lord Kapiladev is answering at the end of this chapter. So that's why I think starting from yesterday's verse till the end of this chapter, Lord Kapiladev will talk about different characteristics of time. So I'll read today's translation again. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality Godhead, who is the enjoyer of all sacrifices, is the time factor and the master of all masters. He enters everyone's heart. He is the support of everyone, and he causes every being to be annihilated by another. So in today's verse, Lord Kapiladev is very simply or clearly telling his mother that actually this whole time factor that you're asking about is none other than Krishna himself. Krishna himself is time. And as time, Krishna is working in different ways. And Lord Kapiladev will further elaborate in the coming verses. So, when we talk about time, one of the main questions or things that devotees ask is how can we manage our time more efficiently? We only have a certain amount of time during the day, and there's so many things we want to do, but it seems that time is always escaping us. So I was thinking about this, that what is the best solution for us to most effectively utilize our time in Krishna's service. So Prabhupada used to say that, actually it's given in Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami. He explains different symptoms of a devotee who's on the stage of bhava. Bhava is the preliminary stage of love of Godhead. So we're all aiming to get Krishna Prem in the final stage of bhakti, but just a step before Krishna Prem is the stage of bhava. And in Rupa Goswami explains in Nectar of Devotion different symptoms of a pure devotee of the Lord who has attained the stage of bhava. And one of the symptoms is avyarta kalatvam. Avyarta kalatvam means a pure devotee of the Lord. He loves Krishna so much that he doesn't want to waste even a single moment, even a single second away from Krishna's service. So every second, every moment, he's fully conscious in how to utilize his time very efficiently in Krishna's service. So this is said to be one of the symptoms of Bhava Bhakti. And as practicing devotees, Prabhupada explains, we should understand what we're aiming for, and we should try and make small steps towards that goal, to make sure that every single second, every single moment during the day, we're using properly in Krishna's service. Srila Prabhupada used to quote Chanakya Pandit often, different sayings by Chanakya Pandit, and regarding time, Prabhupada used to quote one verse by Chanakya Pandit, where Chanakya Pandit says that time is so precious, time is so valuable, that even if you had millions of dollars, even if you had billions of dollars, you still can't buy back even 1 second of time which has gone away. So this is how precious time is, Prabhupada used to explain, and Prabhupada used to advise that we should make sure that we don't waste a single moment away from Krishna or Krishna conscious activities. So what is the best thing or solution we can do for managing our time properly? So based on my small contemplation, I realized that the best thing we can do for ourselves is to chant our rounds attentively in the morning. How does that help? If we chant our rounds attentively, like if you think about it, during the day, so much time, it's explained, that so much time gets wasted in our mind, thinking about unwanted things, thinking about useless things. If we carefully observe ourselves, observe our minds during the day, so much time during the way is just wasted in the mind, just spacing out, thinking of useless things, worrying about things that we shouldn't be worrying about. In this way, if you calculate, so much time during the day is just wasted in the mind. So the main problem that is stopping us, or main obstacle that is stopping us from efficiently utilizing our time, is our own minds. As Krishna explains in the Gita, if the mind is uncontrolled, the mind is the worst enemy of the conditioned soul. So our worst enemy is within ourselves. It's our own mind. And the best way to conquer the mind is early in the morning. If we can win the battle early in the morning when we're chanting our japa, if we can some or other chant our rounds attentively and defeat the mind early in the morning, then the rest of the day, our mind will be peaceful. So that is how it all starts. It all starts early in the morning when we chant our rounds. If we can chant our rounds attentively in the morning, if we can subdue the mind or conquer the mind in the morning by very attentively chanting, no matter where the mind takes us, if we keep bringing it back to the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Krishna explains in the Gita that when we chant, no wonder the mind will wander here and there. But Krishna says you grab it and again bring it back to the sound vibration. You keep focusing on hearing the mantra again and again. So if we can some or other muster our determination, willpower early in the morning and force ourselves to chant attentively, if we can win that battle against the mind early in the morning, then the rest of the day we can continue conquering the mind and not get swayed by the mind, not space out in thinking and worrying about so many things that we shouldn't be worrying about, so many things that we shouldn't be unnecessarily thinking about. So that is the number one solution to time management. Early in the morning, chant our rounds and chant attentively. If we can conquer this battle early in the morning, rest of the day, we'll be able to manage our time very efficiently. And Srila Prabhupada, he was a perfect example of this, of a pure devotee, how he managed time so efficiently. If you look at Srila Prabhupada's schedule during the day, his day was jam-packed with so many things. Early in the morning, given his personal servants used to explain, he used to sleep at 11 p.m. at night and wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning. So just 2 hours he used to sleep at night. And then he would translate Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he would chant some rounds. Then we would go for morning walk, and again in morning walk he would continue preaching to his devotees, then again come back just in time for darshanati, then give Bhagavatam class. Then during the day Prabhupada would have so many engagements. Then in the afternoon he would take a short half an hour, 1 hour nap. So in this way Prabhupada used to just sleep for 2-3 hours every day. And then again in the evening more classes. Like this, if you look at Prabhupada's schedule, the amount of work Prabhupada accomplished in just 10-12 years, it's amazing. More than 10 world tours, more than 70 volumes of books written and published, more than 108 temples established all around the world, all within a short time of 10-12 years. And there's some huge amount of letters Srila Prabhupada wrote. So back then there was no WhatsApp, emails, nothing. Prabhupada had to personally write letters or dictate letters to his disciples. I forgot the exact number, but thousands of letters Srila Prabhupada dictated or personally wrote during those 12 years where Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON. So if you calculate, you think about it, you contemplate about it, it's like amazing. Like how can one person, at the age of 70 do so much in just 10 years? So Prabhupada was very efficient in how to utilize time. One pastime I was reading recently that Harikesh Maharaj, he was sharing that he used to be Prabhupada's personal servant and he used to cook Srila Prabhupada's lunch every day. And one time he happened to mention to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, it takes me a good time to cook your lunch. It takes me around 2.5 hours to cook your lunch every day. And when Prabhupada heard this, he was surprised. Like 2.5 hours just to cook? That's crazy. If you give me cooking, I'll do everything in 1 hour. Like that Prabhupada told Harikesh Maharaj. And Harikesh Maharaj like, really? How can you do so much in just 1 hour? It takes me, at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours, to do in 1 hour. That's like, impossible for me. And Prabhupada said, okay, I'll come and show you how it's done. Then Prabhupada, he himself goes to the kitchen and he himself starts cooking his lunch. So Prabhupada, he had like a 3-level cooker where you can place 3 different dishes, one on top of each other. So at the bottom, Srila Prabhupada used to put dal. Then in the middle, Prabhupada used to put rice. So the dal will boil at the bottom. Then from the heat of the dal, the rice will cook in the middle. And then from the steam of coming from the rice, the vegetables at the top. Prabhupada used to put vegetables at the top. And the vegetables used to get cooked at the top, get steamed. So in this way, 3 things would get cooked simultaneously in one go. So dal at the bottom, rice in the middle, and steamed veggies at the top. Then Prabhupada gets another pan, and Prabhupada gets some eggplant, and chops the eggplant into big chunks, puts turmeric around it, puts some salt, and then starts frying it in ghee. So then a 4th item is made. Then Prabhupada gets some Karela, chops it into circles, and then it's given, Harikesh Maharaj was explaining that the lid of the pot, it's like this kind of shape. So Prabhupada takes the lid of one of the pots, or the wok, and Prabhupada turns it around and makes it into a pan. And then puts that pan on the flame, and then Prabhupada puts some ghee and then starts frying the Karela. And then chapatis, then Prabhupada makes the dough of the chapatis. And Srila Prabhupada used to tell his disciples that the chapati dough should be very, very soft. How soft? Prabhupada said, you touch your ear. And the softness of this part, that's how soft the chapati dough should be. Like that Prabhupada used to advise. So then Prabhupada made the chapati dough, then he rolled chapatis. Like this, Prabhupada cooked 9 items in just 1 hour. And in this way, Prabhupada showed his disciples and how one can efficiently utilize time. So Prabhupada used to always say that cooking is just 1 hour's business. Max, you should spend 1 hour in kitchen and do all the cooking. Similar instruction Prabhupada gives about deity worship also. Prabhupada, another place he used to say that deity worship is also 1 hour's business. So Prabhupada was very efficient in utilizing time, and we can also become efficient if early in the morning we chant our rounds attentively. Then during the day, our mind won't create such a big obstacle. And if we carefully think about it, observe our mind, through intelligence, then we can see that actually because of our mind, so much time during the day is wasted. So much time is wasted in contemplating about useless things. So much time we waste in just spacing out during the day. So it all starts early in the morning. Now in today's verse and purport, Lord Kapiladev is explaining that Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personal Godhead, who is the enjoyer of all sacrifices, is the time factor and the master of all masters. He enters everyone's heart, he is the support of everyone, and he causes every being to be annihilated by another. So Srila Prabhupada in his purport, he focuses on the aspect of the verse which talks about how Krishna as time is the master of all masters. And Srila Prabhupada is quoting a famous verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ekala Ishvara Krishna or a Sabha. Krishna is the supreme Ishvara, or Krishna is the only master, he is the only controller, and everyone else are his servants. When Chaitanya Charitamrita says everyone, it means everyone, including Brahma, including Shiva, Indra, Chandra, including even the Vishnu Tattvas. So it's given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the postgraduate study to the Srimad Bhagavatam. So more details are given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So first we're supposed to read Bhagavad Gita, then we're supposed to study Srimad Bhagavatam, then after Bhagavatam we have Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this aspect of Krishna being the Supreme Master is further elaborated by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who explains that not only are the demigods all worshipping Krishna, not only are the demigods Krishna's servants, but even other Vishnu Tattvas, even the avatars of Krishna, they're also Krishna's servants. So, in start of Bhagavatam, we get a whole list of different avatars, Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Varahadev, Vamanadev, Nrsimhadev. So like this, there are so many avatars of Krishna or Vishnu. It's given all of these avatars, they all see themselves, or they all consider themselves as servants of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. Not only that, it's given in Chaitanya Charitamrita that these avatars, they experience more bliss, they experience more happiness in service to Krishna than they do in playing the role of an avatar. Which means that, like all these different avatars, they have their own loka, they have their own planet. Like Matsyadev, he has his own planet where he's being worshipped by all of his devotees. Same way Lord Vamanadev, he has his own planet where he's being worshipped by his devotees. Lord Nrsimhadev, he has his own planet in Vaikuntha where he's being worshipped by his devotees. So when the devotees of Lord Nrsimhadev, they're doing kirtan in front of him, they glorify him, Lord Nrsimhadev, he experiences pleasure, he experiences happiness, taking the service of all of his devotees. Same way in Matsya Loka, where Lord Matsyadev is being worshipped by his devotees, Lord Matsyadev, he is enjoying the rasa with his devotees. His devotees are glorifying him, serving him, and he's experiencing great bliss and happiness. But it's given that these avatars experience the most happiness when they come and they perform worship to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. So Matsyadev, he experiences topmost happiness when he comes and does arti for our Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. Same way with Nrsimhadev. If you give Nrsimhadev opportunity to come and do arti for Radha Gopinath, that is the time he would experience the most bliss. So in this way, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that not only the demigods are all Krishna's servants, but even Vishnu Tattvas, even the avatars of Vishnu, they're all consider themselves as Krishna's servants, and they all experience maximum bliss when they are in the role of a servant, when they are in the role of Krishna's servant. So in this way, Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that in this world, material world, spiritual world, the topmost happiness is Sevananda. This is the happiness that comes from rendering seva or service at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. This happiness of Sevananda is so so great, so blissful, that even Vishnu Tattvas, they are giving themselves to serving Krishna. Not only that, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami, he goes one step forward and he says that Krishna, he is observing all this. He's observing, his avatars worshipping him, serving him. He's observing his internal energies, serving him. He's observing the jivas, serving him. And he's noticing, these guys, they're all experiencing so much happiness, so much bliss from serving me. Particularly, Krishna notices that the gopis of Vrindavan, his topmost devotees, they're experiencing so much ecstasy, so much happiness in serving him. So much so, it's given that when the gopis render service to Krishna, Krishna, he feels happiness, but the happiness that the gopis feel when they serve Krishna is 10 million times more than the happiness that Krishna himself experiences. Not just 1.5 times more, 2 times more, 3 times more, but 10 million times more. So Krishna, he notices this. Now I'm supposed to be the supreme enjoyer, but these pure devotees of mine, these gopis, by serving me, they are experiencing happiness which is 10 million times more than the happiness I'm experiencing. How is this so? So Krishna, this is one thing that Krishna is contemplating about. So in this way, Chaitanya Charitamrita is the postgraduate study of Srimad Bhagavatam. All these inner secrets of what's going on in Krishna's mind, Chaitanya Charitamrita is revealing to all of us. So Krishna is wondering about this. How is it that my devotees are experiencing millions of times more happiness than me? There must be something in this Sevananda, in this happiness which comes out of service. I also want to experience the same happiness they are experiencing. So that's why Krishna comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to experience the bliss, to experience the happiness that his devotees are experiencing. Particularly his topmost devotees, the gopis or Srimati Radharani. Because Krishna is noticing, in his loving relationship with Srimati Radharani and the gopis, that these devotees are enjoying so much more happiness than me. I want to also experience for myself that same happiness. So then Krishna comes in the role of his devotee, in the role of his own devotee, in the mood of his topmost devotee, Srimati Radharani. Krishna comes in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the glories of being Krishna's servant. To be Krishna's servant is so great that all the avatars of Krishna, they're all vying to be, or they all experience more bliss as Krishna's servant than they do as being avatars. To be Krishna's servant is so great that Krishna, he himself comes as his own servant to experience that bliss. So it's no joke to be Krishna's servant. We actually have the topmost position. It's a great fortune, and we should always remember this. And we should always offer gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, to our spiritual masters, for giving us this opportunity to serve Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. My Guru Maharaj, he says in one lecture that the best way to start off one's day is through gratitude. How so? My Guru Maharaj explains, early in the morning when we come for morning program, when we come for Mangalati, we should offer gratitude to the deities. We should offer gratitude to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, to our spiritual master, to Shri Shri Gaurnitai, to Lord Jagannath, saying thank you for everything they've done for us, saying thank you for giving us bhakti, thank you for giving us opportunity to come to temple, to have the association of devotees, thank you for giving us the holy name, thank you for giving us so many opportunities to serve you, so on and so forth. So in this way, my Guru Maharaj says that this is the best way to start one's day. Early in the morning, you come to the temple room and you offer your gratitude to your spiritual master, to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, and this way we can focus on the day in a proper mood. According to Shastra, it is said that out of all bad qualities, out of all anarthas, the worst anartha, the worst bad quality is ingratitude. If someone is ungrateful, he is said to be having the worst anartha. He is supposed to have the lowest of all bad qualities. So in this way, this quality of ingratitude is very heavily looked upon in the Shastra. And so we can positively address this by cultivating gratitude. And early in the morning we can come during Mangalati and say thank you to our spiritual masters and to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath for everything they have done for us. So to be Krishna's servant is a very great boon, and generally, in our material conditioning, the servant-master relationship, it seems that, to be a servant is not such an enjoyable position. That the master will always be enjoying more, and the servant will always be exploited, by the master. The master will have many servants, he will exploit them, he will be the one enjoying, and the servants, they'll just be very lowly and, not having so much happiness and bliss. So that is the general mindset we have when we think of a master-servant relationship. But in the spiritual world, it's the opposite. In the spiritual world, actually the servant enjoys more than the master himself. That's why the master, he's thinking, my servants are enjoying more than me, I should become my own servant. I should take up the role as my own servant. Like in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Purushottama Yoga, the analogy is given of the banyan tree, how this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So in the spiritual world, the servant enjoys more than the master. But when it gets reflected in the material world, we get the perverted reflection. Here we see that the master enjoys more than the servant. But this isn't the case in our relationship with Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. They are our masters, we are their servant, but they are the most kind-hearted masters. They are the most compassionate, magnanimous, and us serving them, we experience so much bliss, happiness that we can never experience in anything else. And how Krishna is such a kind master, how Krishna is so compassionate, how he is so humble, how he is so caring for his devotees and his servants is highlighted in numerous places in the Srimad Bhagavatam. For example, I was reading 3rd canto recently. I was reading a conversation between Lord Vishnu and the 4 Kumaras. 4 Kumaras are going through the different gates of Vaikuntha. They reach the final gate. They see Jay and Vijay there. And as the Leela goes by Krishna's arrangement, Jay and Vijay, they stop the 4 Kumaras from entering. Then the 4 Kumaras, they get overcome by anger as the pastime goes, and they curse Jay and Vijay. That we're here to see our Supreme Lord, our Supreme Master. How can you stop us from going? And in this way, the 4 Kumaras, they get angry at Jay and Vijay. And at this time, Jay and Vijay, in their hearts, they're feeling repentant. Actually, we shouldn't have stopped these 4 great Mahajans, these 4 great devotees. And the 4 Kumaras, they also start feeling repentant inside. That actually we shouldn't have gotten angry. These 2 personalities, they're no ordinary persons, they're pure devotees of Vishnu himself. Who are we to curse them? Who are we to get angry on them? What is our position? So then the 4 Kumaras, they also start feeling guilty inside. So both parties, they're feeling a bit guilty for what they've done. And at this time, Lord Vishnu comes, accompanied by his consort, Lakshmi Devi. And then Vishnu comes and speaks to the 4 Kumaras in very sweet words. And in this particular section, Lord Vishnu, he recites very beautiful verses where Lord Vishnu is pouring out his heart and explaining how much he loves his devotees, how much he loves the Vaishnavas. So those are very beautiful verses to study in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where one can see the mind or the mood of Krishna. How much Krishna loves his servants, how much Krishna's servants are dear to him. In these verses, Lord Krishna is explaining, or Vishnu is explaining to the 4 Kumaras that I love my devotees so much, I love the Vaishnavas so much, that for the sake of my devotees, I am even willing to chop off one of my arms. Like this Krishna explains. Then Krishna explains to the 4 Kumaras that in this universe, everyone is after my lotus feet. And my lotus feet is glorified throughout the 3 worlds. That if anyone takes shelter of the dust of my lotus feet, all their sins will be vanquished. How my lotus feet is just like a thunderbolt, which destroys the mountain of sins. So in this way, my lotus feet are glorified throughout the 3 worlds. How they destroy all sins. The reason my lotus feet have become so powerful, Lord Krishna is explaining to the 4 Kumaras, my lotus feet have become this powerful. Why? Because I am the servant of my devotees. Because I worship my own devotees, by worshipping my devotees, I have acquired this potency of having powerful lotus feet like this, by which I can destroy everyone's sins. So in this way, with such great humility, Krishna or Vishnu is speaking to the four Kumaras. So this is how much Vishnu or Krishna loves his devotees. Out of his humility, Krishna thinks that the only reason, my lotus feet is worshipped throughout the three worlds is because I am the servant of my devotees. By serving my devotees, I have gotten this potency. Then Vishnu explains to the four Kumaras that in this world, many people are offering so many different things to me in sacrifice by doing yajna. So when we have a yajna, the fire is said to be the mouth of Lord Vishnu. And whatever we offer as oblations, it's going directly to Lord Vishnu. And Vishnu explains to the four Kumaras that I enjoy with greater relish food that is offered through the mouths of the Brahmanas, or food that is offered to the mouths of the Vaishnavas. So Vishnu explains to the four Kumaras that if someone feeds my devotees, that food which is offered to the devotees, I accept with much more relish than I do from fire sacrifices. So in this way again, Vishnu is emphasizing the greatness of his devotees. Then finally, Lord Vishnu tells the four Kumaras that, I am so great that in this world all the great demigods are worshipping me. Brahma is my servant, Shiva is my servant, Indra, Chandra, everyone is after my lotus feet. The water which has washed my lotus feet has become the Ganga and is purifying the three planetary systems. This is my position. I am so great. And although I am so great, I still go and I take the dust of my devotees. So if even I, being so great, take the dust of my devotees, who is there in this world who wouldn't take the dust of my devotees? Like this again, Lord Vishnu, he concludes his argument of the greatness of his devotees, how he feels about his devotees. So this is Krishna's mood, this is Krishna's consciousness when he is seeing his devotees. For Krishna, his devotees are everything. And we don't see the same, level of consciousness in this material world between a servant-master relationship. But in the spiritual world, everything is opposite. The master, Krishna, he feels so obliged by his devotee servant, by his devotee's service or devotional service, that he helplessly goes after to serve his own devotees. Same thing, another section of Bhagavatam where we see the heart of Krishna. How Krishna so much loves his devotees, how Krishna feels so indebted to his devotee service is in 9th canto of Bhagavatam. So if we fast forward a little bit from 3rd canto and we go to canto 9, in the section of Durvasa Muni and Maharaj Ambrish. So when Durvasa Muni, after running around the whole universe for 1 whole year, when he finally goes to Vaikuntha and tells Vishnu, please protect me from Sudarshan Chakra, at that time Vishnu, he pours out his heart. He reveals his heart of how much his devotees are dear to him. Vishnu explains to Durvasa Muni that although in the Shastra it is explained that I am Swarat. So if we open up Canto 1, the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam explains that one of Krishna's quality is Swarat. Swarat means Krishna is supremely independent. He can do whatever he likes. He is independent. He is not dependent on anyone. So Krishna tells Durvasa Muni that yes, it is stated in the Vedanta, in Bhagavatam, in the Shastras that I am Swarat, that I am independent. But actually, to tell you the truth, I am not independent. I am completely dependent. I am completely under the control of my pure devotees. So in this way, Krishna, he glorifies the position of his devotees. And he says, not only my devotees, not only am I indebted to my devotees, but even the servant of my devotees, I'm completely sold out to them. And we see numerous examples of this in the Shastra. For example, Chaitanya Charitamrita, there was one random stray dog who happened to follow Sivananda Sen and the other Vaishnavas who were traveling from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. And this particular jiva, he was just a dog. He doesn't know anything about Krishna, about bhakti, nothing. But he just happened to travel along with Sivananda Sen and the other Bengali Vaishnavas to Jagannath Puri. And Sivananda Sen, he had some, out of his compassionate heart, he had some liking to this dog. and he asked the devotees to also feed this dog. So because this dog was very dear to Shivananda Sen, later on Mahaprabhu, he liberated this dog. Mahaprabhu personally from his own hand, he fed this dog, and this dog chanting Hare Krishna, Mahaprabhu told this dog to chant Hare Krishna, and this dog, in front of everyone's eyes, they saw this dog getting liberated and going back home, back to Godhead. And Prabhupada, in his Prabhupada explains, how does this dog get liberated? He's just a dog, he doesn't know anything. And Prabhupada explains, this dog got liberated because he was somehow or other connected to a Vaishnava. Because somehow or other, a Vaishnava liked this dog, and Krishna, as is explained to Durvasa Muni, not only am I sold out to my devotee, but even the devotee of my devotee, I am sold out to him also. So this dog was a devotee of Mahaprabhu's devotee. And because of that, that was his qualification, he got liberated. Another example we see of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's son-in-law, whose name is Amoga. And this person was like complete rascal. When Mahaprabhu was invited for lunch at Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, naturally Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had a great love. He had filled up the whole room full of prasad. And when Amoga comes to see this, immediately he comments that, what is this? A sannyasi, with a whole room full of prasad. What kind of sannyasi is this? Like this, he starts blaspheming Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he gets so angry, he picks up his stick and he starts running after Amoga. Then later on, due to his offense, Amoga, he gets some disease and he's on his deathbed, he's about to pass away, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is happy. It's good this happened to him. He deserves it. And then when Mahaprabhu hears this, he's feeling very bad. And Mahaprabhu personally comes and Mahaprabhu advises this person, Amoga, by explaining that you're a Brahmana. How can you let this anartha, how can you let this demon of blasphemy, of envy, enter your hearts? A Brahmana's heart is supposed to be very clean, supposed to be very suchi. How can you let this very unclean anartha of envy, blasphemy of Vaishnavas enter your heart? Remove this anartha from your heart, have a clean heart. Like this, Mahaprabhu advises him, and Mahaprabhu asks him to chant Hare Krishna. And it's given, Mahaprabhu places his hand on Amoga, then immediately Amoga is purified of all sins, and immediately he starts jumping and dancing in ecstasy, in Krishna Prem. So immediately this Amoga gets Krishna Prem just like that. So again Prabhupada explains, how is this possible? This guy Amoga, he was a sinner, he used to always blaspheme devotees, or he blasphemed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had no faith. What was his qualification? Prabhupada said he had one qualification, which was, he was somehow or other related to a pure devotee of Krishna. So although personally he had no qualification, because somehow or other he was the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Mahaprabhu took compassion on him, Mahaprabhu liberated him. So in this way there's many examples like this in the Shastra, which prove Krishna's words to Durvasa Muni, that I love my devotees so much that not only are my devotees very dear to me, not only am I under control of my devotees, but even the devotee of my devotees, even that person who is somehow or other connected to my devotee, I am also very dear to them, or they are also very dear to me. Like this, Krishna explains to Durvasa Muni. Then next verse, Krishna explains that I am the master of the 6 opulences. Everything, all opulences are with me. But although I am the supreme enjoyer, although I have everything to enjoy myself, I don't wish to enjoy all this by myself. If my devotees aren't there, I don't wish to enjoy. For me to enjoy all my opulences, I need my devotees with me. So again, Krishna says how he is dependent on his devotees. If his devotees weren't there, Krishna says, I won't experience maximum bliss. For me to enjoy maximum rasa, I need devotees around me to engage in loving pastimes with me. And Krishna explains furthermore to Durvasa Muni that these devotees of mine, they have given up their family, they have given up attachment to their family, to their job, to money, to wealth. So many different things they have given up, and they have come and surrendered unto me, giving their mind, body, words, and serving me. If they have sacrificed everything, serving wholeheartedly unto me, how can I give them up? There is no way in this world I can ever give up my devotees. And then Vishnu, he gives an example to Durvasa Muni, that just like a chaste lady, or just like a chaste Mataji, or a wife, she would very submissively render service unto the husband, and through service she brings her husband under her control. Like this, there are many examples in Bhagavatam, we'll see as we read. So just like Mataji, through rendering so much service, she makes the husband very indebted to her, and this way brings the husband under control. In the same way, my devotees, they render service unto me with so much love and devotion that I completely come under their control. And I lose my position as Surat, and I became completely dependent on them, and I'm completely under their control. Like we see in Damodar Leela, Mother Yasoda, she binds Krishna. So that is again another example. So in this way, this is another section of Bhagavatam where Vishnu or Krishna is pouring out his heart. How he loves his devotees so much, how great his devotees are for him, that he completely comes under the control. Another section I was reading in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, I was hearing of the first section, first volume, where Narad Muni, he is searching who is the greatest devotee of Krishna. So in his quest to find the greatest devotee, he comes to Hanuman. Before Hanuman, he goes to Prahlad Maharaj. He tells Prahlad Maharaj that you are the greatest devotee. Before Prahlad Maharaj, he was, I think, talking to Lord Shiva. And Shiva and Parvati, they tell that Narad Muni that actually we're not the greatest devotee, that Mahalakshmi, she is the greatest devotee. But then Shiva, he takes Narad Muni aside and starts whispering into his ears that although I said Mahalakshmi, it's not actually Mahalakshmi. There is someone who is even greater than Mahalakshmi. Who is that? That's Prahlad Maharaj. But I am secretly telling you this. I am not openly telling you this in front of my wife, because my wife and Mahalakshmi, they're best friends. They're BFF, best friends forever. If I tell that there is someone greater than Mahalakshmi, my wife, she'll get angry on me. So to maintain peace at home, I'm whispering this to you, don't let it out. So like this, Lord Shiva, he advises Narad Muni that there's someone even greater than Mahalakshmi, you go to Prahlad Maharaj. He's even greater. And then Narad Muni goes to Prahlad Maharaj, and Prahlad Maharaj, being a humble Vaishnava, he says, no, it's not me. What practical service did I do to Lord Nrsimhadev? I am known to be absorbed in always remembering the Supreme Lord. But I haven't done any practical service. Instead, you go to Hanuman. If you go to Hanuman, you'll see how in so many different ways he is doing very practical service for Krishna. So actually Prahlad Maharaj, he is doing many practical services. It's given Prahlad Maharaj, he has his own deity of Lord Nrsimhadev where he's offering prayers, doing arti, doing deity worship. But out of his humility, he is saying that actually I'm just remembering Krishna, I'm not doing any practical service. You go to Hanuman. And then Prahlad Maharaj starts glorifying Hanuman. How in so many different ways, Hanuman is serving Krishna. So I really like this section where Hanuman is glorified. It's a nice section to meditate on, because Hanuman, he exemplifies dasya, or how one should render service unto Krishna. And that's something we're all doing, so we can all keep Hanuman as a role model and take inspiration from him. So it's given Hanuman, he did so many different varieties of service for Lord Ramachandra. For example, one service he did was he used to be Lord Ramachandra's carrier. He used to be Lord Ramachandra's airplane and driver. So it's given he had a nice big back, and Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman used to sit on Hanuman's back, and wherever they wanted, Hanuman used to fly them there. Not only that, sometimes when it became very hot, Hanuman, he used to, he has his tail, he used to bring his tail out from the back, and he used to fan Lord Ramachandra with his tail. It's given 3 different services Hanuman did just by using his tail. So service number 1 he did with his tail was to fan Lord Ramachandra when it became very hot. Or when there's many insects or bugs, he used to wave his tail and shoo away the insects. Service number 2 he did with his tail, he used it as a canopy to shade Lord Ramachandra from the sun. So in the forest, when it used to become very sunny, he used to bring his tail over the top of Lord Ramachandra and protect Lord Ramachandra from the sun. And service number 3 he did with his tail, he used it as an umbrella. So in the purports there is explained that in Vedic culture, like nowadays everyone has an umbrella, but in Vedic culture, only persons of royal order, only they had an umbrella. So the umbrella, it represents someone, like if someone holds an umbrella, then one knows, okay, that he is of a royal family, that he is a king or a prince or a princess. So only someone who is in the royal order, only they used to carry an umbrella. So in this way, the umbrella was like a sign of royalness, that this person comes from the royal order. So in this way, Hanuman used to use his tail, and his tail was whitish, so he used to use his tail as a white umbrella, signifying that although Lord Ramachandra, he's looks like some forest dweller, actually he's actually from the royal order, actually he's a king. So in this way, just by using his tail, he did 3 different services. And using his back, he used to act as Lord Ramachandra's carrier or airplane. And it's given that at times he even acted as Lord Ramachandra's doctor. He used to give medical advice. Sometimes during battle, Lord Ramachandra used to get wounded, and Lord Hanuman used to come and personally attend to the wounds of Lord Ramachandra. So in this way, he did the service of, being a doctor also in his service to Lord Ramachandra. And there is another place it's given that he was even a project manager in one service for a big service. Can anyone guess which particular service Hanuman acted as the project manager? Yes, building the bridge to Lanka. So he took charge of that, and he led the whole team of monkeys to build the huge bridge, to Lanka. And there is another pastime where Hanuman, he acts as a civil engineer in the service of Lord Ramachandra. Anyone can guess? This comes in Lord Jagannath's pastimes. So it's given in Jagannath Puri. So Hanuman, he loves Lord Ramachandra so much, he's always hungry for service. For Lord Ramachandra's sake, he can do anything and everything. He can act as doctor, he can act as project manager, he can act as a civil engineer. It's even given, he sings very nicely. It's given in Brihad Bhagavatamrita that he is a very great kirtaneer. So it's given that in Kim Purusha Varsha, Hanuman is there with his deity of Lord Ramachandra, and every day he is singing bhajans for Lord Ramachandra in a very sweet voice. So he's a very great kirtaneer also. So he's like all in one. He's doctor, engineer, project manager, singer, great warrior, great hero. It's given there's 3 types of heroes. There is Danavira, Yuddhavira, and Dharmavira. So Danavira is, one can be a hero in giving charity. Dharmavira means one can be a hero in performing religious principles very strictly. And Yuddhavira means one can be a hero by fighting very vigorously in battle. And Hanuman was all 3 of this. He was a hero in giving charity, he was a hero in battle, and he was a hero in performing religious principles. So he was like everything, for Lord Ramachandra's service, he did everything. So what is the pastime of him acting as a civil engineer in Lord Ramachandra's service or in Jagannath's service? It's there in Jagannath Puri that there's like 4 gates to the main temple, Sri Mandir. And it's given that Hanuman, he's present in all 4 of the gates. In one of the gates, he's there with 8 arms, 8-armed form of Hanuman. And there's the famous pastime of him. One time, Sudarshana, he had some pride, as the pastime goes, Lord Jagannath to teach us. Sudarshana, he got little pride. So Lord Jagannath, to take away that pride from his devotee, he asked Sudarshan to go fetch Hanuman. And then Hanuman comes, but as he's entering Jagannath temple, Sudarshana, he's doing circles all around, to stop Hanuman from entering. He's having some fun with Hanuman. Let's see how, Hanuman gets in. I'll just go around like that, stroll around. Then Hanuman, what does he do? When you don't know what to do, you just pray to Krishna. So he just prays, offers to Jagannath, I want to come take your darshan, but Sudarshan is doing like this. So as he's praying, he notices he gets 6 extra arms. Just pop out, from the side. So now he has 8 arms. So then it's given with 4 of his arms, he catches hold of Sudarshan. With 2 of his arms, he offers pranam to Lord Jagannath. And with the other 2 arms, he puts his arm high up in the air, chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. like this he enters and takes darshan of Jagannath. So on one gate there is this 8-armed form of Lord Hanuman. Another gate, Hanuman is there, and this is the gate where Hanuman acts as a civil engineer. So what happens one time, at night, Lord Jagannath's consort is Mahalakshmi, and Mahalakshmi, her father is said to be the Varunadev, or the ocean. Her father is the ocean. So if you remember 8th canto, the churning of the milk ocean, from the ocean Mahalakshmi, or Lakshmi Devi comes out. So because Lakshmi comes out from the ocean in 8th canto, the ocean is said to be Lakshmi Devi's father. So the ocean is Lord Jagannath's father-in-law. And Lord Jagannath, he has one problem he faces with his father-in-law, which is at night time, he can hear, because the Puri temple is right near the ocean, so the ocean waves he can hear at night, and it causes disturbance to Lord Jagannath at night. The waves are so loud. And Lord Jagannath, he doesn't know how to say it because, he doesn't want to upset his wife, that, his father-in-law is making too much noise at night, so it's disturbing Lord Jagannath. So Lord Jagannath, he asks Hanuman, his dear servant, you please do something about this. This noise coming at night from the ocean is disturbing me. I can't say anything to my dear wife because that's her father. You please somehow or other remove this noise. So then what Hanuman does, he goes to that particular side of the temple and he soundproofs the wall. Using his civil engineering skills, he soundproofs the wall to stop the sound of the ocean coming in. And then Hanuman, he puts his ear against the wall and then he hears, okay, it's fully soundproof, I can't hear any sound coming in. So in this way, Hanuman is there in one particular gate, soundproofing the temple from the waves of the ocean. So therefore, even nowadays, it's said that if you go into temple, you won't be able to hear the waves of the ocean because of Hanuman soundproofing. So in this way, Hanuman, he rendered so many different services to Lord Ramachandra in so many different ways. So in the same way, we should be also ready to do anything and everything in Radha Gopinath Seva. So Prabhupada, he used to say that we should know a little bit about everything and a lot about one particular service. So we can be specialized in one service, but at the same time, we should know a little bit of everything. So we should know a little bit about cooking, singing, dancing, chopping, whatever. So we should know a little bit about all different services. So when the time comes, emergency comes, there's certain gap there, we can immediately go in and do that service for Krishna. At the same time, we can have our own specialized field of service where we can really go deep, and excel in. So Hanuman, he was a great example of this. For Lord Ramachandra's service, he was able to do anything and everything. And just like Hanuman was doing everything for Krishna's service, it's explained in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, that Krishna, for the sake of his devotees, he was also ready to do anything and everything. And this Hanuman explains, we can see in the example of the Pandavas. So we'll finish with this. Hanuman explains that Krishna, he loved the Pandavas so much that for the sake of the Pandavas, Krishna was able to do or willing to do any sort of menial service. And then Hanuman gives a whole list of different things that Krishna did for his pure devotees, Pandavas. So just like devotees from their side are ready to do anything and everything with Krishna, in the same way Krishna from his side, for the sake of his pure devotees, he is able to do anything and everything. So Hanuman says that Krishna, for the Pandavas, he acted as their chariot driver, which is actually a very menial service. It's given in Mahabharata that in the battle of Kurukshetra, there is no time for Arjuna to tell Krishna to turn left, to turn right, go there, go there. So because there's no time to verbally speak, if Arjuna wanted Krishna to turn right, Arjuna used to kick Krishna on the back, on this side. And then when Arjuna would kick Krishna on the left shoulder, Krishna would turn that way and drive that way. And if Arjuna wanted Krishna to go that way, Arjuna used to kick Krishna on this side. And then Krishna would turn the chariot that way and move that way. So this is the humble position Krishna took in Mahabharata. He was getting kicks, from the feet of his devotees. Although he is the worshipful Lord, being worshipped by Brahma and Shiva, he's taking such a menial service for the sake of his devotees. Then Hanuman explains, for the sake of the Pandavas, he acted as a menial messenger. He acted as a postman, delivering messages to the other party. And there's even description given that how on occasions, Krishna, he used to be a night guard. He used to be security guard, and he used to spend whole night standing outside guarding the palace with a sword in hand for the Pandavas. Again, another menial service. Some nights, if we have to do late night service, we become so tired and we just think, when can we sleep? But Krishna, for the Pandavas, he used to be a night watchman, with a sword in hand. He used to guard the palace on certain occasions. And the most amazing one, which when I first read was completely mind-boggling to me, was during the Rajasuya sacrifice. Different devotees, they volunteered to do different services, just like we have Janmashtami coming up. So some devotees will volunteer for shoe stall, some will volunteer for cooking, some will volunteer for the cleaning, some will volunteer for the book table, different service. Different devotees will take up different services. So Krishna, for the Rajasuya sacrifice, which service did he take up? He put up his hand up and he said, I will take up the service of washing the feet of all the guests who come for the Rajasuya sacrifice. And it's not that there were just 5-10 guests. Hundreds and thousands of guests came for the Rajasuya sacrifice. And Krishna, the Supreme Lord, Master of the whole universe, he personally washed the feet of all the guests that came. All this he did for the sake of his devotees, the Pandavas. So this is how humble are Shri Radha Gopinara. Although, externally they're like the master, we're the servants, still from their side, they're so humble, so kind-hearted, so magnanimous, so caring, so compassionate. That's why the Shastras say that we should all surrender at the lotus feet. That's what the Shastras say. You just give your life to them, there's nothing you can lose. That's why the Shastras say, that's why the Bhagavatam says, only someone who is a two-legged animal, only he won't serve Krishna. If someone doesn't worship Krishna, he's no better than a two-legged animal. Why? Because of all the above reasons that we discuss. How Krishna so nicely, so compassionately takes care of his devotees. How he loves his devotees so much. Okay, we're over time. We'll stop here. Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.